Hi, I'm Satyam and I'm from Team Recreate. Our entire we built the IVLE application for the iPad. The IVLE application already exists on the iPhone, and our objective for the iCreate challenge was to create an iPad optimized interface. We feel that the IVLE is such data intensive application that its true usage is on the iPad, which is made for data consumption and for video sharing and video viewing. So some of our goals was to focus on the user experience completely, because IVLE is such a data intensive application that it's very easy to get lost in all the data, and to allow for a very streamlined user workflow was one of the main objectives of our project. It was to create an app which was offered all the primary features offered by IVLE. This was so that the students don't feel a need to access a laptop during classes. They can just carry an iPad around with them and access all the features available on the IVLE website to them directly on the iPad through the app itself. It was to make features like timetable, forum, webcast. Like I mentioned, these are applications which are very data intensive. So the point was to make them much more easily accessible on a mobile platform. Till now, we had to go on the website through the mobile device to be able to access all of these, and it used to be a pain. So speaking from a student's perspective, it was a great experience to just think about the pain points we ourselves had for the last 4 years in university, accessing IVLE through our mobile phones, and try to work around those problems by offering them on an app directly in a very streamlined fashion. And to reiterate on my previous point, it was to make the iPad more of a replacement device for students on campus. Some of the features that we included in our application were integrated home screen, modules page allowing students access to all the features used most extensively, and we know this the best because we ourselves use the application the most. And events listing, it was something which was always the ignored feature in IVLE because it was a small pop-up on the left-hand side. We didn't check it much. The point was to make it a lot more in your face so that you know what's happening around campus. An extensive timetable which syncs with your iCal so that it makes IVLE the focal point of all your planning, and a map showing custom student events. More on this later. The home screen. This is the home screen that we designed. A little bit of, I'll go into all the aspects one by one. All right, so this left screen right here is the most recent announcements across all your modules. You can just access, the minute you access the application, you'll see all the announcements. So this is like a quick reference check to see, okay, have I missed any announcements? And it's across all your modules sorted by earliest first. And then you have the calendar for the day. This is a quick reference point for you so that you know if there are any classes that day, and this will also show your own personal events. So IVLE allows you to have, IVLE has 3 kinds of events, IVLE events, timetable events, and your personal events. So this will show all your timetable events and your personal events so that at a glance you know what classes you have, what appointments you have, so that you can plan your day accordingly. And lastly, we have events. These show some of the current events that are happening around campus. You can just flick through them, see if there's anything of interest to you. And if you want more events, you can always go down to the events tab at the bottom. And you can quickly access any of the features at any point of time. That tab stays there all the time. So this is to be able to switch to different views as and when you want. Next, we have the modules. Now, one of the major objectives with the modules was to spend a lot of time here on the user experience, on making sure that everything is streamlined, because most of the time of the user is spent in this particular feature, because here's where you access things like webcast, your files, your forums. This is where most of the time will be spent. A lot of focus was spent on this on these features to make sure that the student has a great experience using them. So we'll go into the different features of the modules. We'll go. There are a lot of different features that students access on a daily basis, like forum, work bin, webcast. So we'll go into each of them on an individual basis. So this is the work bin. There's intuitive directory structure layout over here, where students can access each of the features of every module using a drop-down menu. You have all the folders listed out then in a hierarchical manner, and then on the right screen you have all your files organized by upload date. We've also introduced visual aids for the students so that they know exactly what file is or what type, so that they, at a glance, they know immediately. And if you open up files, they open up in-app, so that you never actually have to leave the app. You don't have to download, then get out of the app, and then access the file again. So they open up directly inside the app. All the files there are supported by us. So this is a great plus point for students, because they don't have to keep track of, where have I downloaded my files, where have they gone. They can just access it directly inside. After that, we have forums. This was a major redesign, because you can get very horribly lost in a forum on a limited screen space. When you're on the internet, you know where you are, but on the mobile space, it's very difficult because there's so much data. What we've done here is that we've again provided visual feedback. We felt that is very important for the student. So at any point, you'll know where you are in the forum by means of by the text changing color. Secondly, once you click on a particular thread, you'll be able to follow all sub-threads in the screen there. The text will change. So if you keep on clicking, you'll keep on getting deeper into the thread, and you'll know when you've reached the last thread, because the text again changes color. So you have a visual feedback at all times to let you know where you are. Thirdly, we also have, beg your pardon? We have visual aids to signify if the poster is a staff member. This is something you always want to know, because you want to know if a TA is replying to your message or a professor is replying to your message, because those replies are more significant to you. And lastly, you have quick access to be able to post a new thread or to reply to a current thread. Next, this is just a screenshot of how when you post a new thread, it'll just pop up a window, and you can just fill in whatever you want to post and do it directly. So that, again, you don't have to shift screens. It's a more streamlined workflow. Thirdly, we have webcasts. This was a great demand from all the students, because they were like, we want to see webcasts on the go. We are sitting at a canteen and we don't have anything to do. We just want to be able to access webcasts and not have to take our laptops out or carry our laptops around with us everywhere. So we've made that possible. All your webcasts are arranged by upload date, directly accessible, ready for streaming in full iPad glory. You can just click on them; they directly start streaming. A demo, I'll show you a demo later as well. And these are supplementary information, because students always want to know, like I myself as a student have always wanted to access, what is the workload for this course, or what's the course assessment breakdown. So when do I have an exam, or who the lecturer is, or what their contact information is. So what we've done is that we provided that information. So this is the IVLE information screen, where you can access information about any module. Next, you have the announcements. Even though the homepage provides announcements, it's across all the modules together and the most recent 20, but sometimes you want to check an announcement for a module going back a longer time. So that's you can access all the announcements for the module here. And lastly, you have the gradebook as well, because your marks keep on getting uploaded, and we want you to have access to them on the go wherever you want. Next, we have events. Again, this is a significant redesign on our part. We had to think about this because students usually do not, as I mentioned before, students don't keep track of what events are happening around campus, and they often ignore that part of the IVLE interface because it's just not visually put forward to you. So we did a completely redesigned interface for viewing student events. It provides students a quick way to catch up with what's happening by just a click, and a very visual layout on what events are happening, where they're happening, and how you can access those events. Also, something we've added on our own is the ability to create your own events. Currently, the events in NUS on IVLE are done only when students approach IVLE with a particular student event. It gets approved and then it's listed on the IVLE. But then this is a longer process, and we feel that students should have the ability to share events and things that are happening around campus immediately. So we've created an events system which allows them to create events in real time, and it is shared with other people in real time. More on this later. So this is the event screen. I wish I could show you what the current events looks like and what this is like. So you can just flick through them. You'll find all the events. You just click on any tab and it expands on your entire screen, as I'll show in the demo, giving you more details about the event. This is, if you click on the add button on the top left, it opens up a map of the campus. You just press on any point in campus, it drops a pin. It asks you for a few details about the event, and you can create the event on the go. It immediately passes it to our server, which would be the IVLE server if we choose to keep this feature. And anyone else accessing their map, which I'll come to later, will be able to see your event. These events are accessible only for a day, so they keep on getting refreshed every day. So you could open up your map at any point and say, oh, okay, there's a Milo truck here, so let's go, let's get some Milo, or oh, there's a great sale happening here, so let's go there. We feel that this is a very significant feature because it allows for a lot more sharing between the student community, which currently is done through a lot of other channels like Facebook or Twitter. But then again, IVLE is something which we use every day. We probably access it 10 to 15 times a day. So if you can have it in IVLE, why not have it here? Why have to go to another service, and why have to manage 2 different applications, 3 different applications, when everything can be in this powerful application which we all access all the time? Again, a major redesign that we did, like you mentioned, we often use our phones or our calendar on the laptop to manage our time. But then again, IVLE does provide the feature to give you a timetable. It accesses all your module information automatically. You don't have to enter your classes, so why not use this system instead of having to use your laptop or your phone? It also, all your events that you enter on IVLE, we've done so that it syncs with iCal. You can access it on your iPhone, or you can access it on your laptop at any point of time. So, because it syncs with your iPad calendar as well. The goal is to make IVLE a focal point for students' time management, because that is where you spend most of your time during semester. That's where you know what your course appointments are, what your timetable is. So why not use that as a forum for managing your time? This is the timetable layout. On the left, you have user-friendly calendar, allows you quick access to information about any day. If any day has a dot below it, it means that there are events situated on that day. You click on a particular day, it opens up a layout on the right, which tells you what the events are. And again, providing you quick visual aids to immediately determine what kind of an event type it is. And if you forget, if you don't remember what they are, there's always a legend here to refer to. There are IVLE events, timetable events, and personal events, which all will show up here. So again, the homepage has a sub-module of this where only your timetable and personal events for that day will be shown. Lastly, we have the map. This is a quick reference point if you want to check, oh, where's this LT? Let me just, I need to get there. So you can access the NUS campus map on Google Maps at any point of time. And again, like I mentioned, the custom student events that we create, any student can create. will be visible on this in this feature. So you can find a great sale, or you can say, oh, there's a new coffee shop on campus, let's go check it out. So this is the basic maps layout, and events that you create will show up over there. Other things that we've done to improve the students' user experience is that it allows you offline access to your data, because we wanted to integrate Dropbox with our application, but university regulations don't allow you to do that because of copyright issues. So what we've done is that we've created an offline cache, which even if you don't have connection, it'll allow you to access files which you might have accessed before. So it's already in the system, it's in the database. Secondly, it'll cache any data that we access on the iValy server. So even when you have connection and you're accessing the features like forum, which are very data intensive, which request for a lot of data from the server, we'll cache that data so that if you come back to if you go to the forum, get out and come back, it doesn't have to make requests again. You'll immediately be able to access it because the data is already in your system. So this was something which we thought about ourselves. It was a pain point for us, and we decided that let's cache the data, let's make it a little more original, and so that we don't have to face this problem of waiting for iValy to respond, waiting for depending on the internet connection. That's pretty much all we have right now. Thank you. I will quickly just get down to the demo. And okay, so this is basically how the application starts up. I'm already signed in, so once you're signed in, you don't have to sign in again, because it'll store your authentication token until it expires from the iValy server. So this is so we have support for both orientations. You can see it in landscape or portrait. I'll just increase this, and like I said, the announcements are 20 announcements laid out by latest first. You have your modules timetable here. You have the events that are happening, 5 events. You can increase this amount if you want. Next we have the modules. So it's accessing the server right now for the first time. So for the first time it'll take a little bit of time because it's for accessing first time, but then you'll be able to access it immediately because of caching. So you have intuitive drop-down menus for all the modules. This is the work bin. You can access any of these files. We have support for Word, for PowerPoints. Everything is supported in-app. You also have folders. So there are in the iValy work bin, there are often subfolders. You can access all of them as well. You access it for a subfolder. You go back. Next, we also have the forum. We also created a swipe functionality, so that you can just swipe on a particular table cell and it'll take you to the next level. So if you simulate a swipe, or you can even click if you want. So again, these show whether the staff is the post is a staff or not. This is authentication, a particular thread. I get in, I click on it. That's the only reply that there is there. So it changes color accordingly. Next, we also have the webcasts. Again, it's accessing data for the first time. It's going to be slow, but after that, it's super fast. All the webcasts start playing immediately depending on your internet connection. It's streamed. We don't store the webcasts because they can be so big that you just use up space on your iPad. There's the information, like you mentioned, and all announcements that the module has. Next, we have the events. They're all laid out, easily accessible on the iPad. You'll just be flicking with your fingers, and you just click on event, it opens it up in full screen so that you have all the information. You just click and it goes back. You can add an event. So you just, if you want to add an event here, we just, you just add an event and you click done. Right now, it won't be able to post this because our server is currently on this machine as well. So, but if you post this, it'll show up in the map. Next, we have the calendar. You click on it, it shows you what events there are, quickly accessible, all the other days. So again, this information is very sparse right now because we're in the summer, there are no classes, these are only fake modules, but during semester you'd have a lot of things around here. So, and this layout is also important because it just provides you a easily accessible, you can navigate through it very easily. And lastly, we have the map. I'm not sure. It's okay. It's not responding currently. I'll have to restart it. But the map just has the current events that there are, the custom student events that there are. That's pretty much. The events also shows you the IVLE events, which are the events posted by the IVLE staff. So these are community events, which are these are community events or events by particular clubs which they put up. So all those events are not student created events. They don't last for just a day. They're there as long as IVLE allows them to be there. So but the student events, they would just be there for a day. They're just things to share by students. They're things students want to share just for a day, just like, oh, free Milo truck, come and grab it. So those are just, those events get over very quickly. There would be a map, like I mentioned in the slides, the last feature is the map itself, so you can access those events there. But there's a map in the events because you need to know where to create the event, so it knows your current location.
That's for creation, but the viewing is in the map.
Yes.
And the viewing of the event is in the event.
Yes, but
You can have two access points on the map and the event.
yes, you can, but that's the point that the events that are there in the events view have a lot more detail with them. They are a lot more structured events, so that's why we have it over there. But the map is something which would just show you snippets of data. It's not meant to bog your view down, because if you were introduce all the student events in the events view, when students actually start creating events, there'd be hundreds, if not thousands, of events. So it would just be a huge data influx on you. But if it's in the map in the form of pins, you can just know where you are and see events around you. So that was the most important point. The reason also we cannot include events, the IVLE events in the map right now is because the events don't provide geographical data for the events. So we can't pinpoint where those events are happening exactly. But the other student events, we can pinpoint it exactly because the student put his finger down and pointed exactly where that event is happening. Yep, and that's our demo. If any questions.
So one question is under events, right? Whenever I create a new event, I can't tag a location to it.
You are tagging location. When you press on the map, that's the location.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the user experience wise, it would be cool if you say you're in a home page, say you have full phoning,
Right.
and then the second line is the location itself.
Right.
Then people will, it makes it's easier for them to identify where to go to.
Right.
So
Sorry.
even in your events tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if you go to the events tab, for me those fonts are really too small. So for me, I'll do away with it in the first place. I'll just have a heading,
Right.
and then a time,
Right.
and that's all. Once I click in, then you give me the full details.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That's fair. Thank you for that.
Can you just do the class before?
Oh, sure.
So this is the part where if you click on the pin, that means
So if you just do a long press, it'll drop a
this is
pin.
the part where you add an event.
Yes.
And eventually it will be displayed on the map.
Yes. The minute you
Whereas
access
what
it.
you're saying, those white text that we have now, they are events without.
Geographical location. They have locations, but they do not have exact geographical locations.
So for me, if I were to create this, right, everything there is correct, but I'll add another one where I physically type in my location, say the stadium or the track. Or
Right.
Have you ever considered to just combine your map and events together?
Yes, we did, and that was one of the things that.
You could just, because instead of like what you suggested, instead of having multiple squares, you could just have them like this. Just
But again, the thought point that went into there was we want the students to know that the official, what the IVLE events are, because those are events which went through the school. They were approved and they were probably by communities or by societies. So we want that information to be there as a first view, because those are the IVLE events. But these are events which might not be at all relevant to you, because these are created by students on the go. But the others might be, because they include things like, textbook sales are happening, or there's a photographic exhibition happening, or photography course happening.
suggestion.
Yes.
Events, instead of doing a separate map for it,
Mm-hmm.
within events you can have two tabs, one for official event, the other one for student created event.
Yes, we could do that.
And that one has a map.
Yes.
This one doesn't have.
Yes, we could do that. We could definitely do that.
Going back to your module.
Yep. So, what did you want to access?
What's the difference between ICMC iCreate slash
Oh, those are just module names.
versus ICMC 2011?
Those are just dummy modules created by the staff. So ICNC 2011 is actually just representing this competition. So that's where they disburse information to us, but
Each of them represents
a particular course.
and the icons inside each module, are they always the same or they
No, they're not the same. It depends on whether the lecturer has activated those features. So if you see ICM Recreate 1 will have all 6 of these, but 3 has only these, because 3 doesn't have gradebook, for example, or any webcast, but 2 has gradebook and forum, all of those features. So depending on what the lecturer has provided you, you'll have tabs.
Just one small point for me. You're saying there's one certain module where you swipe to go into deeper or
Right,
something like that.
right.
For me personally, any iOS device, a swipe means to bring up the delete, right?
Right.
People may be confused. So a lot of times, Apple always preach to us that we must follow their human interface guidelines,
Right.
guidelines. So that's something that I'm trying to do, because a lot of people always swipe.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was also taking inspiration from Twitter over there. Twitter has a swipe function.
Twitter swipe, but it reveals something, right?
Right.
Yeah, it reveals.
Well, that was the idea, but then again, if we did revealing, there would be more data on that. But I understand your point. That I understand the swipe function.
Because
and
I
iOS.
created some stuff.
Yes,
and
yes.
client also so sometimes say, why are we doing a swipe? Because
Right.
it represents delete to most people.
Also, we hope that this is an app which students will be using over
I
4
see.
years.
Okay.
So once they figure out that it's, I understand your
because
point
a lot
for
of times
human
we try
interface
to
guidelines.
go with the flow
Yes.
rather than.
yes.
Yeah, but what Adrian is talking about is that when you go against Apple human interface guidelines, they usually
Right.
reject you out.
Right.
They'll just reject you out. For example, if you go to your calendar,
Right.
you go to your calendar, I'm sure you cannot update this calendar inside there. You are using Apple's provided calendar.
This is an open source framework.
For Apple.
Yes. No, not from Apple. This is just an open source standard framework. It's not Apple standard.
Okay. Because I find that this left and right thing, it's not as intuitive as you think it is. Especially when you look at the modules, right?
Right.
Your arrow is pointing to the the right side, your drop-down menu is now. And as Adrian pointed out, when you're swiping, there's nothing to indicate that you can go back
Right.
to the previous menu.
Right, and that's, I mean, there was this debate on how to design the interface, because we even had in the forums, for example, we had we used to have a bar on top which allowed you to go, which had buttons for going back, but then we removed that because we just wanted the space to be as clean as possible, so that, because there's so much information like we saw on the forum, the idea was to reduce the amount of clutter that there was. And I totally understand your point about Apple's interface guidelines. Those were things that we didn't completely think about a lot, because we had the student in mind and currently not the app store in mind. So I understand those points, and we would probably have to make a few changes according to that.
One suggestion, last question. If your IPLE is already on a mobile web page, right? Why do you use this? Why do you create this app based on the web services that it has, instead of recreating it?
It's not on a mobile website. We've been accessing the website. It's not a mobile website.
Through a web browser.
Yes. And the point is that if you access the website, you're going to notice on the screen that the button, the links are so
Correct,
small.
but I'm sure the website can supply you with a web service API that you can create, like a mobile web page on the iOS device, instead of creating a native app. Because your app literally needs a connection to the server. Without it, it won't work.
And we assume that that would be accessible at all times to students on campus, because, I mean, we have Wi-Fi 24-hour connectivity. And the point of the native app was again the user experience. It's just so much better. I mean, you can argue that I can do HTML5 application and make the user experience really great, but things like offline caching and being able to view web costs, those are things which I feel that the native application is quite important.
Is it the current IBLE? Is IBLE.us?
Yes.
Can't access.
I can enter my start.
I think one last feedback. You do a little bit of colors. Yeah, maybe work with some art designer, touch up a bit on colors. Because I find initially I was very lost just looking at the module. It's like textures and patches of light for me. So yeah, work a little bit on the colors. Right?